What's up? What's good, y'all? This is another episode of Relevant Features Podcast. And y'all, today I have a very special guest. And I wanted to share her with you guys on today. She's an entrepreneur. She's she's a philanthropist. She does it all. With no further ado, I want to introduce you guys to my soulmate, Malasia Jordan.
Hi, everybody.
So say Malaysia, we got to keep it professional. Um, Tell them a little bit about yourself and all the businesses you have because you got multiple.
Well, thank you. Like you said, my name is Malasia Jordan. I am a serial entrepreneur. Right now, I own a business called Bookworthy Bookkeeping, where we specialize in helping service-based businesses kind of automate their accounting system, as well as we help create their internal bookkeeping system. As well as we have a business together, which is H&M Vending. I'm also a radio host with Soulful Discussion with my co-host, Tina Renee. Make sure you check that out every Wednesday. I also am a coach. I work with the youth in the dance, also in just teaching about business as well. And of course, I'm a mommy and amongst other things, but those are the main things that I got going on.
Yeah, she's soon to be my wife, but she ain't got to say that. I'm gonna say it for her. But anyway, so when did you know you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
Kind of always knew when I was younger, and this sounds really cliche, but when I was younger, I had like one of those lemonade stands, and when I had the lemonade stands, I realized that hey, I have to actually go buy product, and if I want to make more money, I have to spend money. And when I started kind of seeing how strategic you have to be with business, it really was kind of like, I wonder what this may be in the future. Then when I got older, it was just working the 9 to 5 wasn't cohesive with the lifestyle that I seen myself living in. I wanted to have more time with my child. I wanted to have more freedom to live my life. And I also wanted to just be more hands on in the business. And that really was what pushed me to begin. And then luckily for me, I fell in and I learned about a program that was happening in my town called the Freeport Fish Tank, which allowed me to then go in and join this entrepreneur contest, kind of similar to the Shark Tank. And from there, I was able to get some entrepreneurial training, and that just more of solidified the fact that I knew is what I wanted to do.
Right. See, I knew all of that, but I know you guys need to know. It's kind of like a recorder for me, to be honest with y'all. But yeah. So, what would be some good advice you would give someone who's becoming an entrepreneur, just getting started, fresh into this thing?
So I always like to tell this story because my first business failed. I was 21 years old. After I left that program, the entrepreneur program, I went and I tried to do it myself, and it didn't work. It failed. So the first advice that I would give any entrepreneur starting off is do your research. Make sure you know everything that not just your industry, but everything that comes along with being an entrepreneur. There are two parts to being an entrepreneur. There's two parts to owning a business: actually selling or having the product or service, and then having and owning a business. So you have to know how to legitimize your business. You need to know how to set up an accounting or a bookkeeping system for your business. Research, research, research. Do not just, I have something good, let me jump right into it. Make sure you research and plan. That's a very important stage that a lot of entrepreneurs sometimes in the hype and adrenaline of things kind of jump over. So my best advice would be to research and plan and make sure you spend enough time in that stage.
Exactly. Make sure you guys definitely do that research because you don't want to jump in and get involved with stuff and you don't know what you're doing and that business failed right before it even gets started.
Yeah.
So that's very good advice. Um, with having so many businesses, for somebody starting out that probably have even multiple businesses they get involved in, how do you balance that out, and how do you balance it like throughout the days and times?
I had to learn that you can't do everything at once, especially if you do not have the right team. Kind of going back to what I said about my first business failing, one of the main reasons is because I didn't have a team. I was the owner, I was the janitor, I was the instructor, I was the customer service representative, I was everybody. And that gets so overwhelming on top of you having to think about how am I going to bring customers in? How am I going to pay this part of my business? So it's just so much into one. So it's so important just to have that team, have that support, have those people there for you to really help you. So I would say team.
Yes, you definitely need a team. You can't do this by yourself, and don't think that you can, because all of us, a lot of us start out the gate thinking we could do this by ourselves, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, and also parent wise, you gotta have being at that time I was a single mother and an entrepreneur. So having people around you that can support you, help take care of your child when you have meetings, you know, help your child understand that mommy or daddy is a little bit busy right now because they're out pursuing something so big for you and them in their future. So having a team also means having a support system personally to help you as well. So yeah.
That's something that people don't speak about often, but it's definitely something you need, especially if you have kids, children that providing for the future. So,
And just one more thing I want to say about balances:
right.
don't try to do everything. We live in a society now that everybody's like, no sleep, get this money, have 10 different investments, have a multiple stream of income. You want to have a multiple stream of income, of course, but not all those income streams can be an active way of you getting money. Some of it has to be passive because you're only one person. You can't be everywhere at once. And we've learned during our times that if we're trying to do too much, we just get frustrated. We start to procrastinate. We try to do everything we can to avoid having to deal with everything that's big. So if you have more than one business idea in your head right now, just focus on developing one business idea. And then when that idea has a solid footing and it's kind of operating on its own, then go ahead and dive into that next business idea. But don't try to do it all at once if you're just one person.
Exactly, exactly. Don't put too much on your plate that you can't handle all at once. Basically, you don't want to do that. So, what are the biggest challenges as an entrepreneur that people have to deal with, or even yourself, far as struggles that you had to deal with out the gate doing this thing?
Starting up, I think the biggest struggle is realizing all that comes with this position, all that comes with being an entrepreneur, all that comes with being a business owner. I think it's very much downplayed because of media. I think the media makes it seem very luxurious.
Right, right.
They don't show you the startup phases. A lot of these businesses are showing you after 5 years in operation, after 10 years in operation. They're not showing you the first 6 months. They're not showing you that first year where they're barely getting customers, where they're barely getting anybody returning their calls. So very, very careful with that.
Yes, you're definitely right about that, for sure, for sure. So for the people out there wanting to, know how to start up a business and everything else, what advice would you give them as far as having funding for their business to get even started?
And that really comes down to which type of business do you have. That's why a lot of people nowadays like to look at businesses or start business with low overhead. And what that means is you have a low entry to business. It won't cost you a lot of money to start a business. Now, if you decided to become or get into a business that has a high level of entry or a high level startup cost, then you need to look into grants. Look into the free money first. Look into grants, look into loans from your family, look into working a job, along with trying to save up for this investment. Those are the three that I would start out with. But if you're looking to get on something a little bit more sooner and you're in the position credit wise, then you can go ahead and always apply for loans. But again, you need to have some type of credit when it comes to that. And I'm not a credit person, but I talk about credit. But you want to make sure you have a good credit score. That way, when you go into these lenders, you can sit there and actually have a chance. And also make sure you're bringing them a business plan. They're going to want to see a business plan. They're going to want to know, is this money, is this business going to make money? Once we give you this money, are we going to see a return on that? So that's very big to have. And then make sure you're researching interest rates. Which are the best loans for startup companies? How much should I be taking out? Don't try to overdo it and get 100,000 if you only need 10,000, because you have to pay that back. Yeah. So those are my options for you.
Right. It's by utilizing credit to leverage it to make money. It is a door. It is always an opportunity. So weigh out your options. That's the point.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So how do you deal with self-doubt or doubters from people in general? Because we all got to go through this.
I wish I really had an answer for this. because I'm in a period of my life where I'm scaling. So for so long I was in a startup phase, but now I'm to the point where my business is growing. So that confidence comes from what I'm learning. It really comes from time and experience. Putting yourself out there, embracing that scary feeling in your gut every time instead of running away from it, because it can be so numbing and sometimes it can be so loud, not letting your anxiety cloud you, and if you feel that you're not up to par, then get yourself up to par, get the training that you need, get whatever it is you need. But it's really about experience. It's really about showing yourself that you can do this, you can stand in this position, and you can be successful. The more you allow yourself to experience that, the more you can't help but to build confidence in yourself. And we have to also, I think we have to stop thinking that confidence is something we're just going to have. And it's not. It's something that's built upon. It's something that, it takes time to have. So, and then when it comes to other people, just be very careful about telling people your dreams, especially if they're not developed yet, especially if those people have never seen you accomplish something like that, because sometimes people don't always come from a place of hating on you. They just come from a place of not understanding what you're doing, or they've never done anything like that, so they fear for you because they don't want to see you fail. There's a lot of different things, so just be careful about that, and just also have understanding and patience with the people around you. If they're not intentionally being negative, just have patience with them, because in time, once they see what you have and it starts to develop, then they'll build confidence in you. A lot of it just takes time.
It does. It definitely takes time. You got to, like you said, you have to build it over time. It's all about experience with actually like doubt, because it's gonna come across your mind. You're gonna have those thoughts. People are going to doubt you, but the main thing is you working on first yourself and developing yourself to not doubt yourself, missing yourself to not have self doubt. So yeah. So what's your favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur? Because they're explaining
The money.
Right.
I want the money.
Right.
Honestly, it's a lot of reasons I got to entrepreneurship, but one of my favorite reasons is obviously the freedom. And it's not. I'm not talking about the freedom of money. I'm talking about the freedom of choices. Having the freedom to choose when I clock in, having the freedom to choose when I take a vacation, having the freedom to choose that I can take more than one lunch break a day. It's the freedom of choice. That right there means everything to me. And then my second favorite thing about entrepreneurship would have to be, I really love business itself. I love the strategic part behind business. I love the decision making behind business. I love the having to put things together and seeing if they work. I really like the business part of business. So I really take joy into planting a seed and then watching it grow, watching my skills get better, watching what I know and what I can do really change and affect a business and scale a business and help it grow. Really know that I'm really affecting not just my clients or my people that I'm working with, but their clients and their customers. It's all a trickle down effect, and that's one of my favorite parts of entrepreneurship is seeing somebody else grow from me growing.
Right, exactly. That's good though, because it's supposed to be a domino effect that we have. I believe truly that with us existing as people, as human beings, our job is to be, to each one teach one kind of,
Yes.
type of thing. So I agree. So, like, what is some of the hardest choice you've ever had to make within business?
The hardest choice I've
Yeah.
ever had to make was closing down my first business. It was closing down my dance studio. That was the hardest decision I had to make. People don't know I used to be in that studio crying, praying, God help me figure this out, why is this not working? But he really honestly wanted me to sit down and realize I had given you dominion, I had given you authority when it comes to business, but this just isn't it. And sometimes you just have to slow down and be patient with the process. You have to learn what you need to learn so that it can grow the way it's supposed to grow. And sometimes we rush into things and jump into things. It just doesn't work like that. So that was the hardest thing I had to do, and it being the fact that so much of my community was watching me, being that I was so young, being that the journey to getting the storefront had been so public.
Right.
there was a lot of people supporting me. There was a lot of people saying how proud they were of me. There was a lot of people hating on me as well. So having to sit there and make the announcement to all the haters and the people who were supporting me, and saying that, hey, this didn't work. And unfortunately, I don't want to use the word fail, but this failed. And I don't want y'all to think less of me. And then you have to walk around after that with everybody looking at you. You have to go back to your job and everybody looking at you. And then you're silent for a while. And people are like, what is she doing? Is she even doing anything anymore? And you have to be okay with people not thinking you're doing anything while you're silently building something.
Exactly.
So that was really one of the hardest times in my life, because it was a lot of people thinking that, oh, well, a lot of haters was like, okay, well, I'm not surprised. And then you come right back out with something. People's like, well, she's not doing anything anyways.
Right.
So yeah, that was a really difficult time in business for me, but it taught me so much.
Right. And I was gonna say, it's the second part to that question I want to ask you. How did you learn how to persevere from that and be able to start something new when you came from something like that? How was you able to bounce back?
Life. It was drive. It's knowing what you want from your life and then figuring out how to get it. I know I don't want to be stuck behind any type of meaningless job that does not serve me purpose. I don't necessarily even have to be the owner of it. I just don't want to be sitting behind a meaningless desk. And that's enough motivation enough to push me not to give up. I know that I can do it. I know that it's meant for me. I just knew that I had to sit down and go book, pen, paper, college, study, get my degree, really understand everything that I needed to understand and make those investments to understand. You cannot be afraid to make the investments that's going to make you better. So that's how I did. I made the investments necessary to make myself better. I kept focused on what it is that I wanted for my life, and also what my family needed.
Right.
At that time, unfortunately, I didn't have this amazing man on my team, so it was just me and my son. So I had to provide for him, and it's not no stopping. I had to provide for him, but I also want to be in his life. I don't want to provide for him and be gone 40 to 80 hours a week, and my son barely see me.
Exactly.
So that was one. Those are my big motivators.
Right. Okay. So yeah, that's definitely what people need to hear for sure, because it's a lot of people that's gonna have businesses that may not start at the gate doing what you want them to do, or people may even fail in business when you come out the gate, because we got this persona that we think that out the gate you're gonna boom, lifestyle amazing, everything changes, and here we go, we right there where we always wanted to be, right? You cannot be thinking like that. You want to have that joy and excitement, but you have to be happy with the process. And as you gradually build, those small steps are big steps, because compared to where you're going to be, that's creating that path for you, those small steps. So you have to appreciate that journey before you actually get to the level where you want to be. And I feel like a lot of people skip past that part, and we have to understand it's the journey in it. So what does success look like for you ultimately?
Success to me is going to always be making sure everyone around me is straight. That's always just what success is going to be. Whether that's my family, whether that's my employees, whether that's my community. I want to be able to really serve. Getting all this money is not going to mean anything to me if I'm not helping anybody with it. It really will not mean anything to me. So helping my community, helping my family, those are the things. And what do I mean by that? Creating generational wealth for our children, our future grandchildren, creating generational wealth for my family and large, making sure I'm a help to them whenever they need for me to be a help to them. My community, building networking groups, building foundations, building things that are going to really impact and change life, whether that's us building a shelter or a food pantry. If we have the means to provide for our community in that way, we would be wrong not to. And then for my family, I just want my family to have the freedom to not have to worry about anything. We don't ever have to worry about anything not ever being taken care of, and my children don't have to worry about anything not ever being taken care of for them. And we have the freedom of choices. If we decide we want to get up and go to do a vacation, we can get them to do a vacation, and it's not a problem. That's real success for me. That's what that is.
Right. Okay. So, ultimately, also I want to ask you, what do you want your legacy to be? Like far as you as a person, you know?
I just want to be known as a giver. She was giving. She was very giving. She, with information, with money, with love, with her time, she was giving. She was someone who really truly made a difference in her community and the people that she served. I don't need to have the whole world. I just need to have whoever it is that God assigns me to really feel that I've served them. That's all I want.
Okay. So, hey y'all, this part of the segment, we switching to another page of the actual show. This part of the segment is the rapid fire questions that we finna shoot out. So this ain't got nothing to do with business, as you know I say. And this is where it get real though, y'all. So this is like a special somewhat edition that I'm gonna kind of curve and kind of change it because of who's on the show this time. You know, I gotta, set it up as a couples thing, in a sense, with a little bit of, the regular. So my first question to you is, how do you feel about R. Kelly's case, like him being sentenced to 30 years? And how do you feel? Do you feel like that's too much, or he need more time, or he need less time?
Locked up, they won't let him out. Gonna let you out.
Right.
I feel that it is justified. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. He was proven guilty of what they accused him of. I feel like it went on way past too long. I feel like it went on for 20 years. 30 years is honestly nothing. It should be more. Murderers get more. Like I feel like it should be more. But that's to each his own. But I personally feel he should have got more time, and I do feel like the time that he was given was justified.
Okay. So you feel like it wasn't enough, basically. You're right. He needed more.
I know.
Okay. Right. So we had to make sure we clarify that for sure, So so recently they've been having these verses and stuff with Omarion and Mario. So in a verses between Usher and Chris Brown, who you got? Song per song. We can, weigh it out the way you choose to, but who you got between the two?
Ooh, I love me some Chris Brown, because Chris Brown is more in my generation, I'm not gonna lie, but I do love me some Usher, Uncle Usher, too. I'm gonna go with my Uncle Usher, because he just has more time. He has more time with Chris Brown. Like that Chris Brown mother was probably listening to, and now he gets to battle him.
Right.
So but like I said, Usher has almost like a 10-year lead on Chris Brown. Like Chris Brown wasn't even old enough to make music. I don't feel that is fair, but Chris, I'm sorry. I'll give it to Usher because I just feel like he's gonna have more people time-wise across the board.
Right.
He'll have your mother saying it, and then he'll have the daughter saying it too. So it's across the board. Usher's taking that home, period.
I feel that. I feel the same way. I feel like Usher for sure because not only just that, I think Usher music is more timeless than Chris Brown. And timeless music weighs out any type of music, regardless of what era it is.
You think about collaboration-wise?
You brought that up because I was trying to figure out which way he was going with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, collaborating with other artists, Usher got him on that too for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So this is the couples portion I want to go into with y'all, right? that was just somewhat of the basics of what we typically would. But this is the couples portion. So what is something that annoys you about me? And you ain't ready. I knew you wouldn't be ready for this. So
he can take a little time getting ready. You can take a little bit of time getting ready. He sometimes takes, and it's just because, like, I don't know. He just takes his time getting ready sometimes, and I'd be like, "How am I dressed before you?"
Right.
And I just did all of this, but that's the only thing. Is he just takes a little time to get dressed.
And I be saying, I don't know what she talking about, y'all. So my next question: Who throws the most tantrums between us? Really though?
I don't throw tantrums. I don't like that word. I don't like that word.
So you know the
But
answer.
I would say, I don't think I put my tantrums. I don't think it's me. I don't think it's me.
Okay, she said it's me. So just for y'all to really know,
What you think?
I think you, but at the same time, I'm gonna let that one go.
But I'm gonna throw a tantrum.
Exactly. So why should I go there? You know what I'm saying? So, who is one person I'm following on social media you wish that I should block?
I don't know. I don't know. All of them. Any female that ain't your sister or me can get blocked. But he has a career, so I can't do that.
Right, exactly. So, what's something about me that turns you on? We gonna get a little spicy, you know what I'm saying? So,
Mama, I'm sorry.
She wasn't ready.
If you under 18, turn this off.
She wasn't ready.
Your lips. Your lips. Some lips are a blessing that was sent from Jesus himself. He took his time and created every particle that formed those.
Okay. But I always know.
And he has a really nice smile too. He really has a smile. Look at him.
Look at you talking about. All right, so look, she kind of got me blushing, y'all. Look what she did. But anyway, let me try to move forward. You know what I'm saying? So if we could be offered to be on a reality show, right? What reality show would you like it to be?
Love and hip hop. Love and hip hop.
I do it.
It was either that or the Real Housewives, because then I could be. I'm gonna go with the Real Housewives, because then I could be bougie.
Right. See?
I could be bougie.
I knew you was going. Look, y'all. I knew she was gonna go there. I knew that. Left on me and went the other way. So what couple would you say that you would want to be on that show? Who reflects you of us on that show?
So if I was back to Love and Hip Hop, because I don't know the Real Housewives, I don't watch that in years. If I was Love and Hip Hop and I was to put a couple on there, because I don't think we're anything like any of those couples on there. If I was to put a couple on there, we'll definitely be Sierra and Russell. Period. That's what we would be in Love and Hip Hop. You know, I'll be Sierra. This would be my Russell, but we be Sierra and Russell.
So let everybody know where they can find you at on social media and everything.
So if you're interested in any bookkeeping services, then I can be found at bookworthybooks.com, or I can be found on all social medias at bookworthybooks bookkeeping. And then for my personal, I can be found at Malasia Jordan on all social media. And on those profiles, you'll get a really good glimpse into my life as an entrepreneur, my life as a speaker, my life as a radio host. All that good stuff can be found on my social media platforms. Again, that is at Malasia Jordan, as well as at Bookworthy Books. Also, make sure you are following Soulful Discussions. We are live every Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m. You can find a link to where you can listen to on my social media or on Soulful Discussions on all social media platforms.
There we go. So, y'all, this your boy Tristan Heyward. Follow me on all social media platforms as well at Tristan.Heyward. And as well as follow us on IG, the show, at Relevant Features Podcast. And we will see you guys in the next one. All right.